The Twins could change their password from twins to and twins. Welcome to Garbage Time. I'm Katie Nolan, your host of the Soccer Post Game Show. Coming up, the Royals make a mess out of All-Star voting. My dad makes me laugh, and LeBron makes me want to vomit. But first, let's take a look back at the week in sports. Alex Rodriguez got his 3,000th hit Friday night by hitting a home run. The 3,000th hit was a homer, but we all know it was small balls that got him here. Johnny Manziel says he's retiring his infamous money sign. The Browns were hoping that sentence finished at retiring. Tiger Woods missed the cut at the US Open after shooting 16 over par. Here's a highlight. Which really just sums up what we already knew about Tiger. Great at swinging, has trouble holding on. Michael Orr says the movie The Blind Side has negatively impacted his NFL career because it is good and he is not. You probably heard that the FBI is investigating St. Louis Cardinals officials for hacking the Houston Astros computer systems, which, by the way, is insane, but also avoidable. The Astros just needed to come to me sooner for cybersecurity advice. Hi, I'm Katie Nolan, and I'm here to tell sports teams you can never be too careful when it comes to protecting yourself from hackers. All you need to do is follow 3 simple steps. First, make your password harder to guess by using a combination of letters and numbers. For instance, the Eagles could do 0 Super Bowls. The Cavaliers could do 1 good player. The Yankees could do, I can't believe we still owe A-Rod $61 million. All caps. Next, it's important to change your password every couple of months. The Browns could change their password from Johnny Football, ! To ugh, period. The Patriots could change their password from Spygate is BS to Deflategate is BS. And Redskins, I think we can all agree it's time for you to change your password from Redskins to Redskins1. And the last piece of advice is the simplest. Close out of your programs. Log out when you're done. And remember, it's a scary world out there. Wait, did I get hacked? That actually explains that dumb tweet for my account that someone that wasn't me sent out where they got Bellator, MMA, and UFC confused. That makes perfect sense. What a dumb idiot that person who isn't me is. The Golden State Warriors won the NBA title this past week. If you've been watching sports television, you actually might not know that. You just know that the Cavaliers lost it. Or, more accurately, poor LeBron did.
He was a guy that needed help, and he couldn't find it. He really can't seem to catch a break.
LeBron James put on another dominant performance, but once again falls short in the finals. What a burden he had to carry in this series.
What more can one man do?
I know. What more can he do? He has done so much. That poor, rich, poor basketball man. I do not feel sorry for LeBron James, and you shouldn't either. He can tell us he's the best player in the world all he wants, and I actually do believe that he is, but basketball's a team sport. It's just how it goes. And LeBron chose a team whose bench has less depth than the plot of the Entourage movie, and even still, he performed remarkably and put up record numbers. That makes him look good. That's actually good for his brand. Also, he sort of knew that would be the case. When he went back to Cleveland, he basically told everyone, look, we're not gonna win right away. That's how LeBron talks. This is my LeBron impression. I want us to, but we're not ready. Weird voice you have, LeBron, but at least what you said was rational. And then they make it further than anyone expected, and suddenly we're supposed to feel bad because he got so close? This isn't Little League. Not everyone's gonna get a trophy. If I learned one thing in college, it's that you can be the best one in the group and still lose because your group is kind of Thanks, Group C in Marketing 101. If anything, LeBron needed this. He needed to learn that he can be otherworldly and it won't make enough of a difference. He needed to learn that a coach has a job for a reason, and despite the desire we all have to take the reins from our boss, sometimes you just have to trust them. I still don't trust you, though. You know who I actually pity? Kyrie Irving, who has to sit at home and helplessly wonder if maybe his injury stopped Cleveland from taking home the title. David Blatt, who has had enormous success on the international stage, but whose job is now in question because he fights the uphill battle of trying to coach a star who doesn't want a coach. Or how about Matthew Dellavedova, who most of you are still calling Dellavedova, a relative unknown, who went from being the best ever to the literal worst, faster than something fast, like a train, a train. Seriously, I'm no mathematician or wordsmith, but let's look at this graphically. Let's graph perceived talent over time. We'll put LeBron and J.R. Smith on there for reference. Their general narrative stays the same. One's great, one is awful. Now, let's look at Delly's as illustrated through tweets. June 7th. This basically says, hey, we don't really know this guy, but we can confirm he exists. June 8th. This guy is a god. June 11th. This guy is literal garbage. June 17th, he sucks and is dead, and RIP to him. From God to dead in a matter of days. That is like reverse Easter. By playing really well for a couple of games, he somehow ended up making people like him less than he did when this all started. So if you want to feel bad for someone, there's plenty of worthy candidates. It is not the 6th highest paid player in the world. Coming up, I talk jinxing no-hitters and Pablo Sandoval's bathroom Instagram likes with my coworkers, so try to stay awake. Welcome back, guys. In most offices, people gather around the water cooler to discuss the big sports stories. Unfortunately, in our office, the water cooler is in a janitor's closet, and no one ever goes in there unless they're desperately thirsty. So, in order to talk sports with my colleagues, I had to get creative. They were open to it. Pretty crazy about those Royals, huh? The All-Star game, the MLB All-Star game, it's like 8 Royals and Mike Trout, because of course, isn't that nuts? And then today the commissioner in baseball said that like they got rid of 60 to 65 million votes, like a lot of votes. I don't really know what to make of that. I just think it's weird that when you vote for the All-Star game, it's a completely open vote. Like, it's not, hey, pick from these guys. It's, you know, pick whoever you want, as if fans are gonna go, you know, I'm not gonna vote for my team because I'm rational. They should use the stats in the first half of the season, and then you choose and vote from that list. So it's like you're not really choosing, but you feel like you chose, and isn't that what democracy is all about? Cool, so, later. Beep, beep. Did you hear about the college baseball World Series, TCU? Do you want a water? We're at the what? Would you like it? Yeah. So Kaylee Hartung, she works for ESPN. She was covering the game, and then in between innings, she said to the coach in an interview, so you guys have a no-hitter going right now, which everybody knows, right, that you're not supposed to say that. And then the very next at-bat, goodbye, no-hitter. So the fans are really angry and giving it to her on Twitter, as fans do. The coach and like a couple of her colleagues went on Twitter and were like, don't be mean to her, she didn't do it. And it's like, oh, okay, white knights. I just don't think anyone should be babying a professional who did her job. They're not being mean to her because she's a woman, they're being mean to her because she did something they didn't like. If a male reporter did it, people would be mean to them. It wasn't because she was a woman. Are you on the phone? I'm sorry, I can go somewhere else. Are you all set with the water, or did you want some more? You're all set? I didn't say cheers, I just asked if you wanted some more water. Let's not act like we're friends, David. I think we both know that's not the case. Hey, Jonathan. So crazy to see you here at the water cooler. So how about the deflate gate? Crazy, still a thing. You know Tom Brady, deflate gate? That Roger Goodell is gonna be presiding over the hearing. You're the legal guy, I don't know the language. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see if he goes back on the punishment he gave, which would be the first time in the history of ever that anybody went back on a punishment that they gave, you know? Like, oh, I was wrong when I did that. We should undo that. No way, man. He looks so dumb. Like, I wish I could be like, Mom, this punishment is unfair. And she'd be like, you're right. You can go to the prom. Like, no, I didn't go to the prom that year. Are you still upset about the sandwich thing? I didn't know it was yours. It was in the fridge, it looked good. I had one last week, so I was confused, and I got my weeks confused, which everybody does, and I ate it. If you're upset, I wish you would just say something, because I'll get you a new sandwich, okay? I'm not poor. You're welcome for the water, Jonathan. It's West Side Story. Oh, hey, Rachel. So you getting some water? I got some water coincidence. Here, I'll do it. It's nicer, it's filtered. That stuff's gross. Yeah, all right, so did you hear about Pablo Sandoval from the Red Sox? How he got in trouble because he was, during a game, he went to the bathroom and he went on Instagram and was liking pictures from some hot chick. And like, you're not supposed to do that, you know? I only very recently found out people can see my likes. I have been liking complimentary tweets for years. I look like a psychopath, Rachel. Let's stop like-shaming people. That's what I think is weird. Not liking a picture of a butt on Instagram. It's a great butt, right? You've thought that before. Totally have. Anyway, it was good to see you, Rachel. Hey, that's my water bottle. Well, my water bottle now. Coming up, Chris Mannix tries to convince me LeBron was the Finals MVP, and I mock the NBA draft. Welcome back to Garbage Time. I'm joined now by Sports Illustrated senior writer, NBA insider, and fellow Bostonian, Chris Mannix. Hi, Chris.
This is awesome.
Is it?
Everything about this
It's
is
like
awesome.
the walk-in closet you've always wanted.
This is exactly what I envisioned this was.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Let's talk basketball. Let's talk LeBron James, because no one's doing that right now.
No. New topic.
Just us.
Right.
Did you think he should have gotten the MVP?
Yes. I wasn't a voter, but I would have voted for LeBron. It's unique in a lot of ways to give it to
Guy from a team that lost.
Not since 1969, but watching that whole series, no one was more dominant than LeBron James. He was the best player by a mile in that series.
Sure, but it's not best player award, right? It is most valuable
Right.
player award, and to me that means that the value, if you took this guy off the court, his team wouldn't have won.
Right. They wouldn't have
The
made the
Cavs
play.
didn't win anyway. So if you take him off the court, team wouldn't have won, would have been the exact same outcome.
I agree with you in some ways, but to give it to Iguodala, a guy that played like 3 good games, and he was a difference maker in the series. He started those final 3 games. He was an impact player. That's great, but it's just one of those rare situations where this guy was so overwhelmingly better than everyone else on the floor, from Curry to Iguodala. Nobody on Golden State really distinguished themselves throughout the entire series, whereas LeBron, his averages were insane for that whole series.
Sure. I guess my question is, do we reward that? Because clearly
No,
it doesn't
we obviously
work.
don't. We obviously don't reward. I think Iguodala's play in that final game gave enough of the writers that voted cover to vote for him. I don't think anyone wanted to vote for LeBron
Right.
for all
it's
the
tough
reasons.
to vote for not the best player on the court. I guess
All the reasons you articulated are 100% right. They don't want to vote for him because he lost. LeBron wouldn't have wanted that award. He doesn't
you
want
have to
to go back
walk
up.
out
Yeah.
in like the awkward celebration.
Steph Curry,
Hey guys,
Steph
gonna
Curry
take
with
my
the man
trophy.
hug. He's like,
Yeah,
"Hey
really
man,
awkward.
great series, guy."
Yeah,
Oh.
wouldn't
in front of his home crowd, the handful of people that are still there would have been awful. But if you ask me who the best player of the series was, it was LeBron.
Yeah, I don't know if he was the most valuable. We can disagree and still be friends.
We can.
Take note, Twitter. You can disagree with someone and still be decent. Let's talk about the future for the Cavs.
Yeah.
This David Blatt LeBron story, the dynamic seems to be, I don't know how much is hyped up with the media and how much is really the case. What are your thoughts on their relationship?
There's a disconnect. But there's always a disconnect between coach and LeBron James. Go back to Miami. We all remember the bump with Eric Spoelstra when he walked into him along the sidelines.
Right.
Early on in Spoelstra's tenure, there were all these reports in the media, Chris Bosh saying, Spo wants us to work, we just want to chill. It was all sorts of goofiness in that first year. But my position on it is that players need to be coached. Whether they
100%.
want to or not, they need to be coached. Eric Spoelstra made LeBron James a better player.
Right.
He put him in the post. He helped his game evolve. Whether LeBron understands that or can accept it or not, players need to be coached to allow a player to dictate who was giving him instructions on the sideline is wrong.
Is wrong for a
unsuccessful.
number of why else would you pay a person just to stand there and be a dummy for LeBron to draw up plays? Doesn't make
Look
any
at
sense.
the guys in the league. Like Magic Johnson was coached by Pat Riley. Michael Jordan was coached by Phil Jackson. These guys all gained something from being coached. LeBron has to accept that this guy is going to be the one coaching him and just deal with it.
Do you think that's going to happen?
I think it's going to happen. You can't. I don't think the difference in Cleveland and Miami is that Eric Spoelstra had Pat Riley. So when you went upstairs to Pat Riley's office to complain about Eric Spoelstra, he would hit the elevator button back down. You're not. Don't want to hear from you. Don't want to do anything. It's different in Cleveland. There's not the same resounding support for David Blatt amongst the front office
and
executives.
they're telling LeBron they want him participating in.
Well, they have to. This is like, and again, this is another difference between Miami because LeBron has these series of one-year contracts. It's opt out, opt out. This is what he's going to do for the rest of his career.
They have to please him so that he'll stay.
In Cleveland, it was a 5-year deal with that 4th-year opt out. Right. So in year 1, year 2, they could basically tell LeBron where to shove it if he went upstairs and complained about the coach. Here, he can dictate things and say, if you don't do it my way, I'm walking out the door.
So do you think Blatt is back in Cleveland?
I think he's back in Cleveland, yeah. If he's not, I think it's going to be Tyronn Lue who's elevated from that post, but I think it's 95% at this point. Unless LeBron comes out and says, that's it, I'm opting out. If Blatt's still here, I'm gone. That's the only reason I can think.
But LeBron's definitely not opting out, right? He's staying. It's just a money thing. He's just going to.
Like,
I mean,
could you imagine
can't go
if he
through
left?
that. I'm coming home for a year.
He's going to call Lee Jenkins over at SI again. Can you write another essay for me about why I want to go play in LA?
Yeah,
like, this is where I want to go.
Stay. He has to say. Chris, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
In our little studio.
Hey,
we
can we do the beer mile next time?
That's actually right after this. We go out and do the beer mile.
Nice.
So suit up.
On it.
Coming up, my dad trolls my trolls. But first, my NBA mock draft of the worst 5 teams in the league. That's what those are, right? You mock them? First pick, Minnesota. The Twin Cities. Is that Minnesota? I don't know. You know why? Who gives a about Minnesota? It's an awful place. Second pick, the Lakers. Yeah. Can't wait to see who Kobe Bryant won't pass to. Yeah, your biggest fan is a folded pile of leather jackets with sunglasses on top. I mean, wait, Jack Nicholson. Hey, at least if you play for the Lakers, I mean, like, you're on one of the most popular teams in town. Right behind, the Clippers, the Dodgers, the future NFL team, the Kings. Third pick, Philadelphia. The only way it could have been more obvious that Philadelphia was tanking this season would have been if they played all of their games in a tank. Fourth pick, we've got the Knicks. Let's hear it for the Knicks, everyone. No, don't get up. Don't get up. Seriously, Carmelo, don't get up. Can you stand? Duh, Knicks. You know what they say about New York? If you can make it there, you probably play for the visiting team. Now, the fifth pick is the Orlando Magic, which I know they're still in the league. I didn't know either. I didn't know. I thought they were gone. If you told me that we were going to a Magic game, I would say, please tell me you're talking about Magic the Gathering. That's how little I would want to go to an Orlando Magic game. Security, I mean, I'm getting heckled like crazy. Can somebody get me another drink? Welcome back to Garbage Time, and happy Father's Day to all the dads and dad bods out there. There's lots of you. I love my dad. Now that I have my own show, I sometimes call him for advice when people, shockingly, say mean things to me on the internet. And most of the time, he has a pretty predictable dad response. Don't worry about those people, Kate. They're nobodies. But I think deep down, he wants to say a lot more. So in honor of Father's Day, I decided to FaceTime my dad to let him fire away at my trolls in a segment called, Hey! That's my daughter you're trolling. Hi, Daddy. Dan says, why should I care what Katie Nolan thinks? Garbage indeed.
That's what the hell does he know about sports? There's a guy living in his mother's basement. I will keep it clean, but
no, don't
he
keep
really
it clean.
doesn't know what he's talking about and should go himself.
Jay says, Katie Nolan is a moron.
That's your old boyfriend. He isn't.
AB says, Katie Nolan is whack.
What does whack mean?
Dr. C, this man is a doctor, he said,
Okay.
I think Katie could be sexy, but her awkwardness gets in the way.
I wonder what kind of doctor he really is. Did he get a degree? Is he like a doctor of astronomy or something? He's a moron.
Smack the person's name. He said, Katie Nolan has lost her luster, whatever that was. Actually, she has the comedic appeal of a slimy nickel that emerges from grandma's purse.
A slimy nickel. Where did he come up with that?
Kansas City kid said, Katie Nolan, shut the up, you don't know sports.
You do know sports. You were very accomplished when you played sports. I got a picture of when
my
you were
God.
U14.
No.
This is you won the championship.
Dad, you can't be showing things like this on television. Daddy, thank you for taking the time to yell at all these mean people from the internet for me.
Katie, don't listen to them. Keep up the good work. You're doing a great job. Very proud of you. Keep it up.
Thank you, Daddy. I love you. Happy Father's Day. I love my dad. He's the best. And finally, it's time for our Garbage Time Hero of the Week. It's not Mike Nolan, though it should be. It is this guy. That was a demonstration of something called hardcore stretching, which apparently requires you to exert every muscle in your body, except your brain. All right, that's our show, you guys. Back to our normal time next week. In other words, see you on DVR after True Detective. Until then, send me questions on Twitter, Facebook, or email. I'll answer them on Junk Mail, which airs Wednesdays on my YouTube channel, where you can watch every episode of this show for free. Big thanks to Chris Mannix for hanging out, you for watching. You're the best. Give your dad a kiss for me. Good night. Good morning. Good night.